It is November 10th, 2023. Welcome to the Wrestling Inc. podcast, SmackDown time. And tonight, I am joined by two other people after Tuesday's super weird, once-in-a-lifetime solo NXT podcast. The band is back together. NYC Demon Diva Issa. Now, publicly with your last name even. Because you couldn't trademark just Issa. You had to go by the full thing.
Why that's in there? I hate being called by my slave name.
And Flobo Boyce.
Brother, are you like in the future? What is going on over there?
I invested in these. Actually, you know what it was? You know what it was, man? Like I do this. I realized sunglasses are the biggest scam in the modern economy.
Scam?
Yeah. Well, no. Pardon me. People pay $90, $100 for a pair of Ray-Bans. Designer sunglasses.
What? Who's paying that little?
Okay,
yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah, it's like $300. Yeah.
Okay, you see, but even the knockoffs that we all buy, $10 a pair, $20 a pair. I realized about 8 years ago, you could just go online and find a wholesale company and get sunglasses for like $1 a pair if you buy a dozen. And because I lose them all the time or they break, because sunglasses are not often made well, I was like, hey, I'm going to invest in this. And then I realized
the way it works, if you buy a really expensive pair, you learn to not lose them.
That is definitely true.
And I like variety.
I'll check.
Yeah. No. But for instance, my favorite style I have in 12 different colors. So depending on what I'm wearing, my sunglasses will match. But then I realized that they just saw these crazy novelty ones, like different things that you can just get for like $1 a pair. So it's like, why not? Why not just
leave some swag for the rest of us, bro? Like, come on.
You know, it's easy. It's an easy. And I figured out where Seth Rollins and Corey Graves, the brands they buy their clothing of, they're all on Amazon. Just search Kufandy. You can find all those.
Oh, really? That's it? It's Kufandy? That's it? Oh, wow.
Kufandy's one of them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Fast fashion. Depeche Mode, as they say in France. That's where it's at, man.
I'm learning every day. I am learning. So glad to be here, by the way.
Yes. Good to see you both after doing this solo Tuesday. And thank you. The commenters were so supportive, so gentle. Thank you for that. We're back tonight to talk about SmackDown with like a weird accelerated 2-week build to Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah. Had no idea it was a thing. I thought there was like silent, and then they dropped the Ozzy Osbourne and it's full on War Game. So, okay, we're doing it. Props.
It's strange. Issa, what do you think of this? Do you think that because WWE has pulled this sort of thing off before, it almost encourages them in a bad way to think that, oh, we don't need to do long-term storytelling. We could just sort of throw it together?
Maybe, but I don't know that. I mean, based on what I see, I think that the stories that they're building for War Games are not bad ones, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't feel like these are last minute thrown together stories. We'll see where they go, especially with come on, like Cody and Jay have been crying after Judgment Day for like the last year. like since WrestleMania. This is accelerated. Please hit the gas or recharge your Tesla or something, because come on.
Interesting. I had the same thought, Christopher Steigleather, that Jade Cargill is the 4th member of Team Bianca if tonight's main event was a preview for the War Games match for the women. Yeah, that seems like kind of a... Jade shouldn't just be one of the girls.
She shouldn't. I don't think she would help. I don't see her helping anyone. Not to compare them, because I know they're totally different. I think it's very fitting that we'll get to it later how B-Fabs come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's in the mix. So I don't think Jade will be a SmackDown talent to begin with. But hey, if it happens, I wouldn't be mad.
I thought tonight maybe Jade would come out and just beat up 4 women by herself at the end of the show tonight, because they were ending a little early, it seemed.
Yeah, it did.
You know, like she needs to be so dominant. Ricky Saldivar, maybe Cora Jade. Ooh, that's gotta be awkward if they had a backstage thing. And they were like, no, Cora, you're just Cora Jade, you're just Cora now. Can't have Jade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Cora Jade Cargill. That's a mashup I'd like to see. Get Jade Cargill on a skateboard with some Hot Topic spikes. So yeah, man. We got one news story, which is basically that Dave Meltzer saying, and Wrestling Inc. has the story. Dave Meltzer saying, you want CM Punk back in WWE? It's only going to happen if the fans demand it.
Obsessed. Dave Meltzer, obsessed with stars. and CM Punk for some reason. Every week it's an update about this guy. It's like I'm at the point, and I actually like Punk. Either show up or don't. Like I am tired of talking about Phil Brooks, man. Like, come on.
Yes. Stars is in the star rating system, not the Stars Network. He's not a big Power Book 4 fan.
Fair. Well, that's the best one though. Shout out to Tommy.
But they're also doing Power Book 3 as a separate series.
And 2 as well, yeah.
But these are ongoing concurrently with the number of names.
Well, one is a prequel, but yeah.
Okay. One day I'm going to get into the Power universe on Stars.
It is a deep dive.
Okay. I mean, is it good? Or is it like The Wire good? Or is it like...
Nothing's a Wire good. That was like a very flash spin pan. I like Book 4. That was Tommy's spin-off series, yeah.
The guy from Ozark.
Yeah. Joe Sikora.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But yeah, so Dave Meltzer obsessed with CM Punk. Who thinks about CM Punk more, Nick Hausman or Dave Meltzer?
Nick Hausman. Shout out to my good friend, to my good buddy, Nick.
No, I mean, it seems like every other day. So if the fans demanded, if WWE is like, this will be a good idea. So I guess what Dave is saying is keep those chants coming if you want CM Punk back in WWE.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna pretend I want to see Punk 100%. Let's pretend for a second. And you got War Games coming up. It's his hometown. It makes business sense. But CM Punk comes in, we go, wow, Punk's back. And then what? It's not like WWE's hurting for talent, one, or new talent, or fresh talent, right? So you got CM Punk basically in that edge spot. Unless you're going to feed him people he's going to beat, he's not the attraction you want to. It almost doesn't even make any at the late stage of his career, so he demands maximum money. So it's almost like, why would you sign him? You know what I mean? And if you hate Punk, then forget it. Then we don't even have this conversation.
Well, Issa, let me run this idea by you. What if they say, Phil, name your price, and we're going to meet your quote. We're going to pay you, but you have no say in how you're booked. And just every week, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, Santos Escobar, someone else just keeps beating the shit out of Punk on national television.
No, I still wouldn't waste my money. As satisfying as it would be to watch, I still wouldn't give him money.
What if WWE said under the TKO deal, Punk, we're going to meet your quote, but these are going to be UFC style matches, given what an accomplished MMA fighter you are?
No, the only way that this would make sense if they say we're going to meet your price for one match and he gets smashed by Roman Reigns in 30 seconds. That I would like to see.
That would be something. It's interesting, as Christopher's pointing out, like, yeah, if Randy Orton's coming back, you don't want to overshadow his return. I feel like there's a lot on the horizon right now with WWE. We don't need CM Punk. It's weird that this is a story that will not die. People love, I mean, like, it's been amazing since he's left AEW. I don't think a week has gone by there has not been some hot CM Punk speculation.
Serious question. How certain are we about this Randy Orton return? Because I hear everybody talking about it. I don't know where the source is coming from, but if this man doesn't show up at Survivor Series, everybody's going to be upset over something that it feels like everybody's fantasy booking. I said what I said.
She did.
Yeah. I don't know. Survivor Series, War Games.
I don't know where he will make sense. Where's Randy Orton make sense in the stories that they're building for Survivor Series so far? What is he going to show up in the middle? I mean, I do not have a problem with Randy Orton showing up, especially if we get to see the return of those legs that could choke a bear, right, Flobo?
Yeah.
Like, if he's going to show up in the middle of the War Games, do the pose, and walk off, actually, I kind of wouldn't mind. But, like, it doesn't make any sense for him. I mean, he can attack someone, I guess. I don't know. I just don't know that Randy... If I'm hear me out, I will have him come back at the Rumble at this point. This is like wrestling is gonna hit a little bit of a autopilot period of time in December before we go all in for the Rumble, and now we're in the playoffs once the Rumble gets here. So I will save him for the Rumble if I'm the person pitching ideas back there.
Solid pay-per-view opponent to lose to Roman, though, on an A pay-per-view.
A lot better than LA Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. LA Knight.
She's gonna hate on the LA Knight forever.
I mean, LA Knight, the LA Knight phenomenon just keeps growing. Striking him down has made, much like Obi-Wan Kenobi, has made him stronger than you could ever imagine.
It's true.
No, he just looks better in the mid card. Like, that's where he belongs. He did great tonight.
Oh yeah. If it's up to you, there'd be Roman facing nobody.
No, he can face. Actually, I want him to face everybody and beat them.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, exactly.
I think you beat Otis.
CM Punk, really? That's a little
God.
God is 0-2 in WWE. I don't think God has a chance, actually.
No, he
lost every match that God's featured in. That is a fact. Look it up.
It really, sadly, it is.
Okay. So let's talk about tonight.
Cool.
I got this cough. This is weird. I need to sip some water. Flobo, what'd you like best about tonight?
Well, Kevin Owens on commentary was definitely a treat. I almost forgot about the third man in that booth, Corey Graves. Shout out to all the respect. The Telestrator stuff was great. I know we'll get into all the matches and stuff today, but it did feel like it was different. It felt like a half day of school kind of vibe when the substitute teacher's in. So I was on board with that for sure.
Issa, favorite thing about tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin Owens on commentary as well. I just really enjoyed the little digs. Him explaining that double punch like an NFL play just popped me every time he did it. Shout out to Corey Graves and Carmella. Lots of congratulations on the birth of their baby boy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I actually listen. You're gonna be shocked. I thought that LA Knight cut a great promo on Grayson Waller, who's a great talker. So I really enjoy that, and I enjoy what they're doing with the women. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the women shine tonight and get that main event spot.
And I mean, we'll get into that, but this LWO storyline is really hitting me on a personal level.
Yeah, what'd you think about this? So, trouble, friction with Santos Escobar. We have the match with Bobby Lashley.
That was more than friction, Glenn.
No. But going into the match, friction. We have Bobby Lashley versus Carlito. Bobby Lashley dominates Carlito, and then after Santos like attacking Ray.
Wait, hold on. I think you're missing steps here. Because
okay,
I think give me
the play-by-play flow.
I think what happened was LWO comes out and loses again.
Yes.
That's the most important part. And Santos is like, yo, I can't stand this no more. And so Ray is like, why'd you help it? He's like, no, y'all a bunch of losers, and hits him. That's the most important thing. So Santos is actually right here. I am tired of the team. He wanted to trade and basically built the most gullible man of all of wrestling.
I don't think that's what happened. I think that Ray went to like baby Carlito. Like, I don't understand this like fatherly thing that Rey Mysterio has. You fail at it. Dominic Mysterio make it very clear that you failed at it. You failed at it with Santos. Now you're going to try to father Carlito. He's 45, bro. But anyways, he went to father Carlito, and Santos was like, we're not doing this anymore. You got to remember, the LWO was Legado. He brought him up. Then Ray hung on to them, leashed onto them after being called a deadbeat dad to help, I don't know, elevate his image, and now he wants to bring people in. I think Dominic was right all along.
Wow. Dominic was right. I never thought I would hear that. That's a t-shirt right there. Dom was right.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dominic and Santos, Dom and Santos team up.
That as well. Look, we all love Legado, man, but LWO has just been a failed experiment. And imagine if you were like I'm not, but imagine if I was like a Latino like fan and watching the team that represents me lose week after week.
I have it tatted on my skin. I got that. They were all there.
He was there.
Santos was there. Ray was there. We were all friends. We bonded that night, and we all got a tattoo together. The backlash ended with all of them holding hands, hoisting Bad Bunny up in the air. Tio Savio was there, Carlito was there. It was such a beautiful sight, and then nothing happened. Which I share in this podcast. I was like, I hope this isn't just a backlash thing, and it feels like it was just a backlash thing. But it's no fun. But I do think there's something to come out of this, and I'm excited to see. Like, I feel like Selena came up with Legado, and now it feels like she's gonna take. I did not turn the LW. You
totally did. She totally did. Good job, man.
No, because I think like Ray needs to just, I don't know, go and find his son. I don't know. I think that Selena was blaming Santos, forgetting that she came up with Santos. Like, there's so much to the story that I want to see how it plays out. I think it could be a really good feud if booked the right way. But yeah, they lost basically. But I don't see Carlito as part of the LWO. Just throwing that out there. They did make them look like jobbers on the outside with I No, Glenn, don't me. He came out and dry snitch on Santos. He's not part of that crew.
Well, he doesn't have
You
the
don't dry
tattoo.
snitch on your
So
crew. Like
without the tattoo, can you be a member?
He dry snitch, and no dry snitch is like that. Is not how we do things around here. Trust me, me and him were from the same place. That's not how we do things. He's planted the seed for what went on later. So I think that I don't see Carlito as part of the LWO, but I also didn't want to see Carlito losing here. When did they change the Street Profits name, by the way? We keep calling it the Street Business, the Street Mafia on commentary. Like, what is going on with that also?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's not official, but the last 2 weeks have been like, we don't know what this is. But that's a question I have, Glenn. And I know you are the expert person, you're the watcher of all wrestling, but what is going on with BFAB? The whole wrestling world has been stopped with a dime because BFAB is watching this match behind the stage. I'm just confused. I have no what's going on.
It's weird that Top Dollar got released, but the rest of Hit Row didn't.
You want them all gone?
No. I'm just saying that, like, Top Dollar. No, opposite of that, Flobo. Opposite. Run it back. I'm saying that, like, Top Dollar really has got to be taking this personally. That's got to be weird because it's not like Hit Row was like the hot faction,
ever.
Yeah, so yeah, it's odd. It would have been better if he quit because he pulled an Ice Cube and just like went solo. That would have been a story in WWE. Oh my God, could you imagine if Top Dollar had left Hit Row and recorded a No Vaseline style track and there was like a few, like that could have been incredible. Why didn't we get that on SmackDown?
Because no one cared about Hit Row.
I do, Flobo. I watched every Top Dollar rap video he's put out.
Hit Row will be the best example of people liking an idea of a faction, the actual faction. Because they lost to Legato in NXT. They got brought up there were a joke. They tried to bow down to the New Day. They've just been corny from day one. And Top Dollar got like totally eviscerated by LA Knight when he said he was Uncle Phil. What an embarrassment. And now BFAB's still around? What? Come on.
It's a little weird. But yes, what's up with BFAB? Everybody wants to know what's going on. I'm curious.
So much.
I'm curious. Okay, so a couple of questions. One, Issa, if Carlito...
And you guys say I'm the mean one, but they can listen to Flobo sometimes.
It's the most random thing.
He's popping me.
BFAB showed up. Hey man, what's up, Bobby Lashley? Bobby's like, you're not Jade. Like, it's just weird to me.
Oh, damn.
It's true.
Okay, so a couple questions. Issa, if Carlito gets the tattoo, can he be officially in the LWO?
He's not going to get the tattoo.
Okay. Does Santos, and perhaps you, because you're turning on the LWO, does that mean you have
I'm not turning on.
Do you get the tattoo covered over or removed? Because you can't have the tattoo if you're out. I mean, if this were, like full street style, they would remove that shit by force. But yes, WWE, it's PG product. They're just covering it up with something. Yeah, I know what's up.
No,
I've watched a TV show or two. I understand.
There's no covering up. First of all, there's no removal. I saw a video on Instagram that Bianca Belair posted where she was getting her tattoo removed and she was screaming. And somebody as tough as Bianca was in that much pain. I'm sticking with this tattoo for the rest of my life. It also makes a great pickup line when you're sitting there and be like, want to know, like almost like the Joker. You want to know how I got these scars, and I can be like, you want to know how I got this tattoo? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great.
Time out. I don't mean to derail the podcast, but let's talk about situations where Issa has to use a pickup line.
But my old one used to be like, John Cena, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll be like, he follows me and I don't follow him back. That one did wonders for me.
Wow. That's a flex, man.
That won't work for me. I can't be like, I'm blocked by William Shatner and HBK on Twitter.
Only Edge blocks me. So.
Yeah. Okay, so trouble in the LWO. Santos beat up Rey Mysterio tonight. It's gonna be a hot story. Seeing what happens, but Bobby Lashley and the Profits winning, celebrating. They're doing great. Profits are their business, and business is good. We shall see. Bailey, they what chanted Aunt Pam tonight? Couldn't believe it.
I don't understand how anybody could focus on a what chant when Bailey's out there in red pants.
She was good tonight. She's talking about Kairi Sane returning, addressing that. I just ignore sometimes.
Yeah, I'm about to say that was a bombshell. He was like, so anyway.
Here's the thing: there's no upside to us commenting on that. Right. You just got to kind of just smile, nod, and move on. Or be like, oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, so Bailey was great this promo. She did the best she could with the crowd. But then we had the rest of Damage Control come out, and Carrie came out. Carrie Sane looks incredible. I think that this was a good segment. They said, they're there to help. Of course, Carrie and Bailey had some friction in the past, so they're making up tonight. But then they were interrupted by Charlotte, interrupted by Bianca Belair, and interrupted by Asuka, setting up this 6-woman tag match later in the night because Dakota Kai still can't wrestle.
True.
Not that she can't wrestle; she's not cleared to wrestle.
Right. I know it's not going to happen, but if this is as long as Kyrie's run's going to be, just one match as a pirate. Just give me one pirate match. That's all I really want, But I like the segment. It's my favorite segment of the night.
They all look like superheroes. This was great. They were very well presented tonight. Good promo. Issa, you hyped for this? If this is going to be the build up to the War Games match?
I am.
For the women?
I am. I said it earlier and I'll repeat it. I think what they did with the women today was great, and I'm very invested.
And yes, Alicia A pointing out left when Bailey said she doesn't do it anymore, referring to hugging.
Too. Huge pop for it. And then at the end, she's just hugging everybody. I'm like, I thought you didn't do that anymore. But I will say, and shout out, I do watch alongs, as you guys know. Shout out to my chat because they pointed it out. They were like, when did Asuka ever turn face? She didn't. And that went on to pay off later on. But they're right. The last match we saw her wrestle, she was wrestling heel. So there was questioning matter. It's like, why would Asuka be mad about Kairi coming back? They were together, the last time we saw her, and it paid off later on. So I'm glad they didn't just leave that in like limbo and didn't address it. I thought they did a really good job.
Asuka still just looks incredible. That makeup gets cooler and more elaborate.
Who does that sparkle? That sparkle that she does on her face. Like, I need to figure out the brand. It's amazing.
Yeah. That was a fun promo segment, which led to the main event later. But then we had Dragon Lee versus Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Flobo, how you feeling about Dragon Lee?
Don't ask me this, because I like to be positive. I like the tools of Dragon Lee. I like his music, but something is not hidden. And I'm the guy that was all in on Sin Cara and Kalisto. There is something problematic about this.
Problematic?
Yeah. Because they're saying this guy's impressive. He's second generation. I mean, he's wearing the mask. He looks like he's going to be the next generation of mask performer, but he's not hitting like as far as sympathy that Ray does, or didn't have the moveset Santos did when he had a mask. There's like something vanilla about Dragon Lee. I want to be wrong, but Cedric Alexander on TV, call that a plus.
Issa.
While I agree with the statement of being happy to see Cedric Alexander on TV, he's just coming out, putting out bangers and losing with no story attached to them whatsoever. There is also a way to not utilize a person the right way, and I feel like this is it. They haven't put a storyline to this.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, they're going to do a best of 7 with them. Yeah, they're great wrestlers. They can do all of these things, but it's like, I don't want to see it. I'm not invested. I don't feel invested. And every time we see Cedric, I think it's the third time we see him putting on a banger and he's losing. So I just don't know that this is doing anything for anyone.
I didn't mean the lack of storyline, but sure, I'm going to throw that in there. In terms of match quality, contrasted against lack of storyline, this is the most AEW match on WWE TV.
I hate that you say that because it did feel that way.
But it was a good, but the same thing. Great match, gifted performers, super athletic, great wrestling ability. Why should I care about this? What's the context?
Walk to the flame.
Because you like 205 Live.
Wait, okay. I mean, when Enzo was on it, sure.
Wow, that's a very deep cut.
Wait, but you haven't been around for this, okay? So, like, this is a recurring thing that happens on this podcast.
205 Live love?
No, like the nostalgia for maybe it's gotten a little too rose-colored in hindsight, but just of like Enzo was like MSG, not Madison Square Garden, like the seasoning for WWE programming. Everything he was in was very entertaining.
Oh, I liked it when he was a big cast opening shows because they couldn't afford pyro. But when he was on 205 Live, it was like 2 weeks of hotness, and then it said, "Oh, you have a match against Kalisto," and it was like, "Oh, wow." Like after that, it was like,
And I still contend the segment on Raw where he roasted the cruiserweight roster.
It was one time.
So it's still one of the best. I mean, but he was involved in a lot of that. I would argue that for the time he was on the roster, every year in NXT, every year on the main roster, I would say that he had at least one, if not two, top 5 promo segments for the year.
I'm with you. I'm with you with everything but Enzo. I just feel like the 205 Live thing was kind of like, it was like Michigan J Frog. The hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. It was great when you watched it, but you told someone to check it out. It was always lame. And you're like, oh, come on. And so
I love
went back to
Michigan
it.
J Frog. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, the WWWWWB. Come on.
WB, yeah.
Yeah. Where NXT is going. I still refuse to acknowledge is the CW.
What about UPN love, man? Remember the UPN?
I've seen the entire season of Homeboys in Outer Space and the
Oh,
Secret
it's a
Diary of
classic!
Desmond Pfeiffer.
Okay, that's different. Don't be saying that out loud. But
Yeah.
Homeboys Down Space.
They started with they threw a lot against the wall to see what stuck.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and it wasn't all winners.
Homeboys in Outer Space.
And then it got weirder. Shasta McNasty's still one of the strangest things ever on American television.
Issa's like, what are you talking about? I was like, imagine two dudes that had a space hoopty and they threw with the planets.
And Scotty from Star Trek.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was good. It's good times.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, man, like us get that. Okay.
This is my turn to do the Glenn nod, and I'll pretend I didn't hear that he did to me.
And David Faustino had that show with the puppet. Like that's a whole other thing. We
Oh,
get
yeah,
into
that was
later. Yeah.
WB. That was
Yeah, I know. But the early days of both, it's amazing. It's funny that they merged because they both had such similar trajectories.
mhm.
Okay. So yeah, Dragon Lee, they're clearly behind him. They're giving him a push. We just need a storyline. Maybe this is just all the warm-up, Flobo. Maybe this is just this is just like getting the audience acquainted with him, and then he's gonna get in a hot feud with someone.
Okay, look, I want to be positive because I know he's good at what it is. But when he was in NXT, he had the same problem. He was on the roster for like 8 months. And he came out and he did his job. It wasn't bad. I can't say I feel like he shouldn't be on TV, but like, do you picture Dragon Lee on the side of a truck, a production truck, or a souvenir cup? The answer is no.
I mean, okay, so if you want to be really cynical about it, I think WWE traditionally has tried to keep some lucha performers in the mix
Agreed.
because they know for their 4-quadrant demographic appeal
Mhm.
that it helps them in many territories across the U.S.
But I at least could argue with, say, Santos Escobar before he took his mask off and they put him at the WrestleMania presser that this guy had a certain tool, commanded the language, like $1 million, bronze, like body like an Adonis. Dragon Lee isn't the fastest, the shortest, the tallest, doesn't have the most varied move set. You know, it's like, what is his X factor? I can't figure this out. And I don't want to pick on him, but
He's
it's like,
basically saying Dragon Lee's the opposite of Bianca. Like he's depending on ESTs.
like exactly, yeah, he's the averagist. You know, like it's like picking Mario Kart. Like, don't do that.
I do think you
Wait,
have
what's
a
wrong with
point.
picking Mario Kart?
You don't pick Mario Kart. You got Yoshi, you got Toad, you got DK, all better options.
What if you're Luigi? Is that also kind of
Oh,
basic?
Luigi's superior, but
There's a lot to unpack here. So Issa, Flobo, you're both just kind of meh on Dragon Lee. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's now talk about a high point of the night. Let's go to something more pleasant, something more fun, which was LA Knight came out to talk about his loss to Crown Jewel. Crowd literally eating from the palm of his hand. It's like he had birdseed in it, and they were just literally just pecking away. They loved him. They do love him. And then he was interrupted by Grayson Waller. And what I loved about this, let me just wax rhapsodic for a second. Normally I hate these interruptions because then someone comes out and it becomes their promo. And I like with LA Knight that they come out and it is very Rock-esque. It's like, oh, now LA Knight has someone to roast, which means this is going to go to a much higher level. And he masterfully roasted Grayson Waller to great. That was to the Grayson Waller effect tonight, that he, by being the victim of this, elevated this promo to a new stratosphere. It was good.
That's a great way to put it. I love this promo by LA Knight. Clearly, some of Roman Reigns' greatness rubbed off on him when he wrestled him. And he's doing a little bit better. Good for him. He's learning.
Flobo, where does LA Knight go next? I mean, he's going to beat Grayson Waller, sure, but where does he go after that?
I don't know. He's got that great rubbed on him now to the moon, I guess.
True.
I mean, he had to take a lot of it from like laying down for the pin, you know?
Should we bring back WrestleMania Access, Issa, so people could just literally rub up against Roman Reigns? So hopefully something will rub off on them.
He should sell that bathwater or something.
Like Liv Morgan does? She has a line of bathwater. It's not actually.
Oh, really?
it's her bath water and that she designed it, but it's not actually water she bathed in.
Okay, okay, that'd be creepy if it was. Like, how do you ship that? I want to give my flowers to Grayson Waller here. I mean, because don't be a creep. No, I want to give my flowers because I wasn't a big fan of not so much Grayson Waller, but like the call up. I was like, well, how is Grayson Waller going to work with Austin Theory on the roster? But having someone to be the fall guy to take that. To give LA Knight the heat he lost in Saudi Arabia is a lot. And I got to give him all the credit for the world. The creep line worked for me. The kangaroo jackass worked for me. Grayson totally had to take the verbal loss today, but to make LA Knight look good again. So my heart goes out to him.
I will say the kangaroo line didn't necessarily work for me because it didn't feel too original. But you want to know something? I thought that Grayson was doing a great job. Shout out to that sparkly assemble that he was. I'm a sucker for sparkle. So, but when he brought up that segment on Crown Jewel, because I'm still trying to figure out who that guy was, and he managed to drop Grayson Waller. I was like, there's no recovering from here. Just let LA Knight fly with the mic because you just can't recover from that line.
Yeah.
We still don't know who that guy was, and he managed to drop you. So LA Knight, I actually enjoyed this back and forth, and I enjoyed the match that followed as well. I thought both of these guys brought the best out of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be a feud? I think LA Knight roasting Grayson is too good to just have this end.
I mean, what they're selling us is that LA Knight is not done with the bloodline as he is facing Jimmy Uso next week. And it looks like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller might move on to something with Kevin Owens here. So I don't see this as a feud right now. I still think that LA Knight will be an excellent contender for Logan Paul whenever that happens in the future. I can see Grayson Waller coming back to this feud if LA Knight gets a shot at the U.S. title.
But do you think Flobo that Logan Paul promoting that he's done with boxing and he's full time in the WWE, he's probably not losing that title in the near future?
No, unfortunately, I think the U.S. title gets a bit of that Roman Reigns treatment where it'll be an attraction to face Logan. He can like take weeks off or do another thing, drink Prime or whatever the hell he does in his downtime. But then that gives you a chance to build up a competitor.
Clearly, you don't follow him on Instagram because he showed what he does on that downtime, especially with the title.
Fair enough. I guess I mean, like, is the in character Logan Paul like the real life Logan Paul, or is there like a difference there?
All over that belt. So whoever wins it from him needs to request
disinfect it. Yeah. But he can build a U.S. title division while he's out there doing his thing. You know,
I like the post, by the way. I liked it, and I mean, if we're gonna keep it real, marketing wise, like how many more people are gonna look at this than they would if somebody else posted a picture of themselves with the title? Like the amount of people, of eyes that the title is going to get. This is why I was okay with Logan Paul winning here. And I think it's serving the purpose that they wanted it to serve, because these pictures were really going viral in like a few minutes after he posted them.
But don't we have a problem if with the men's single championship belts, you've got Gunther, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, and Roman all having their titles so on lock that there's no unpredictability, volatility, or air of change going into the build to WrestleMania?
Not necessarily this time of the year, but I do think that at some point in December, you got to put on a game plan and really start figuring out what are we going to do so this doesn't feel stale or predictable. I mean, they managed to put Seth Rollins somewhat in this War Games match so that, so we're going to be able to move on through November just fine. But I feel like in December, during that downtime, you really got to get your creative team together and come up and figure out what the stories are going to be for the time that everybody's eyes are on WWE.
Yeah. Is that a problem for Raw? Because you have the workhorse titles in Gunther's reign and Seth Rollins, but on SmackDown, that could be problematic, right? Because you keep Roman fresh to WrestleMania, and then your U.S. title is supposed to be your workhorse championship for that brand. Is also being held by somebody who's not there every week. Then you're going to have a bunch of filler matches like tonight, which today it works because it's amazing. But there's some SmackDowns where you go, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I think take full advantage of this build-up to War Games and Survivor Series, where it's never, I mean, back when the brand versus brand, it was champion versus champion, but it's never been titles on the line. It's not about championship, Survivor Series. So you're buying yourself a couple of weeks to really figure out what we're going to do here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to have a plan, but if everything is sort of unlocked to WrestleMania, it's Flobo, to your point, it's sort of like where the Marvel universe is at now, where it's like, when's Secret Wars coming out again?
Right.
because nothing's massively going to like we're on that runway and nothing's changing until 2027 at the earliest.
This is why I'm a big fan of not doing the wait till WrestleMania. Like, just blow everything up when you can. But I understand people love the grandeur of it all. But man, if Roman Reigns gets rolled up at a house show in Des Moines, I will pop so hard. I'm like, yeah, that'd be dope. 3 years is gone. Just like 1, 2, 3.
Could you imagine if the ref like miscounts or somebody doesn't kick out, and then WWE has to like go out with like the neuralizer from Men in Black and try and undo the whole thing? That'd be incredible.
Hell yeah, man. Tozawa the champ. Love it.
First of all, he doesn't do house shows.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right.
Okay. But great promo segment. And then of course it led to the match, Grayson Waller versus LA Knight. LA Knight getting the win. Match was fine, but the promo segment, this is just LA Knight is so in the zone right now. This guy cannot misfire in front of a live crowd with a mic.
It's funny because he misfired at the pay-per-view when he had the biggest match of his career, but that's okay.
The viewership on those isn't huge compared to the traditional ones.
Right.
You see the highlight clips on social media, they can make anything look good in editing.
Yeah, they see him losing.
Sometimes you can lose, but still come out of it with the star as a star with the Raw Visa.
Right. You didn't go over, but you got over, right?
Yeah. I don't know. How was Crown Jewel?
I think it was great. I had a lot of fun. I thought Drew and Seth killed it, first of all. They teased that storyline with Santos and Rey at Crown Jewel. Of course, the Roman Reigns match was like 20 minutes because it was LA Knight. That's one of his shortest. But it is what it is, Thank you for the acknowledgement. I'll pass it on to the team.
Speaking of Crown Jewel, we had a video recapping John Cena losing to Solo Sikoa.
That could have been an email. That match could have been an email.
I was going to email you a promo.
No. The whole match could have been an email. I don't believe for 1 second that is the last of John Cena. There's no way that this is how he goes out. But that's what they're trying to sell us for now.
Yeah, poor John Cena loses this match. Warner Brothers is, I'll read in a second. Warner Brothers canceling Coyote versus Acme, the Looney Tunes movie that's done, that tested well, that John Cena has a great role in, and Warner Brothers saying, we're not going to release it. We're taking the tax write-off. He's not having a good week.
Yeah, poor guy.
That bald spot's getting a little more noticeable.
Hey.
A little more noticeable. It's like, okay.
I've tried to think about this, and I love John Cena, but it's like, okay, he can't wear a toupee because if that fell off in the ring, it'll look like a tribble, like from Star Trek. Like, that'll be bad.
Right.
That'd be embarrassing. He can't use spray hair because he's gonna look like Rudy Giuliani. It's gonna like drip down his face.
Right.
Jericho did that at one point. Remember?
Yeah. I know we can't cure all the tragic diseases in the world. I know we can't stop the war, the famine, the heartache, the suffering. But for the love of God, can we just get some scientists to figure out a way John Cena can wrestle with that bald spot covered up?
Hogan bandana.
They should just glue the hat to his hair. Like, don't take off the hat and figure out a way where the hat stays on. I mean, Bad Bunny walked around for months wearing some kind of hairpiece attached to his hat, so people didn't know he shaved his head.
Smart.
Real fact.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
Sam Benito.
And now, to give this all the proper attention it deserves, Paul Kyoko with a $2 super chat saying, LOL. That means laughing out loud. Gotta love Issa. And Issa, all caps.
There's hearts that just came out of my fingers.
I saw that. I was like, wow, you got a budget? Like,
you want to step up the FX game? You want to step up the FX game?
Like, when did that happen? When did that happen? I'm even going to try. I'm going to fall on my face.
I got to buy some new gear. I got to do something.
Paul Kyoko, 3-time Super Bowl champ, it looks like.
Yeah. So Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, the dynamic duo, stormed the announce desk, angered by all the trash Kevin Owens was talking. shoved him, poured water on top of his head. And then Owens chased after him, or Owens hit him with the stunner and left the announce desk.
He should not get suspended for that. He had to do something. The Kevin Owens I know is not going to sit back and take that BS. So they better not suspend him for that. Because the arrangement for him being on commentary tonight, in case we didn't mention it before, was he could be on commentary, but if he put his hands on anybody, he will be suspended.
And yes, as Christopher Steichler pointing out, there's nothing wrong with bald spots. Everybody gets them when they get old. I think it's just that, they were showing that ruthless aggression flashback with John Cena and Kurt Angle, which I feel like they can't go more than 6 months without showing that. Must be contractual.
Right.
But it's Christopher, because I too am in my 40s like John Cena, and I'm getting older, and it's just a reminder of that. And I watch wrestling to escape, not to face the grim realities of a decaying body as we hurtle through space and time towards death.
That is dark as hell, Glenn. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's just wrestling. Like,
that's what the bald
crisis. What does it stand
that's
for?
what it represents to me. Don't you ever see people like,
what is going on?
Don't you ever watch, like, you see somebody that was in a movie that you love growing up and you're like, oh wow, they're getting old. Wait, that means I'm getting old. And it's like, shit.
Right.
It's not a good feeling. Yeah, I don't like that, man.
I've also been bald for 20 years, so I don't.
But you pull it off. You pull it off.
You, man. I have a really large head. Yeah.
I have a large head. That's why, how many fedoras I've ordered for Halloween when I dressed up like Tony D'Angelo, and like they were all just too small.
Wait, hold on. You got it for of all the roster, Tony D'Angelo. That's the one you wanted to be.
It was the NXT
Tony's
podcast.
No, Tony's a GOAT, but I thought you would totally be a Dragon Lee guy, Glenn. I thought you were just advocating for him so much that you.
Issa dressed up as Mandy Rose.
Mandy.
Yeah, Alfred dressed up as Oro Mensa.
Okay, man.
Yeah, and I was Tony D'Angelo. But my head didn't fit the fedora. It was terrible. And I ordered
for this Halloween, he was Huskus, and I love that one.
Thank you.
Oh, that's cool. Invite me next year, please.
Yes, absolutely. Well, after Tuesday, I think Tuesday was a good argument that we should always have a regular Joseph Flobo on the Tuesday podcast, just in case.
Just in case.
I just want to say I requested the time off like at least a month in advance. So this was not on me. I promise you guys.
No.
This was definitely on Glenn.
Yes, definitely was. Yeah. Your bomb, pal.
Yes. So the main event tonight, Bayley versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane with Dakota Kai, who's not cleared, versus Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. And Asuka betrayed her team.
Yes, she did. Did she betray them though, Glenn? Did she? Was she ever with them?
I think it's kind of a scorpion and frog situation. It's her nature.
I see.
Yeah. God, it's been like a year since a TV show or movie that I've watched has used that story. I feel like that's everywhere. The scorpion and frog. Is that Aesop's fable? Probably Aesop.
It sounds like Aesop,
yeah. We'll credit that to Aesop. Aesop, you get that one for free.
Yeah, Aesop getting credit in streets, respect.
Nobody talks about Aesop's fables anymore.
Yeah, man. Kids don't know what that is, man.
Yeah. Jesus. And things that feel old. No one talks about that. I've got a list somewhere. I'm adding that to the list. The list of things no one talks about anymore. While I pull up that list to add it, Issa, what did you think of this match?
I thought the match was fun, and like I said in the beginning, I'm glad that they paid off Asuka's this weird face turn that they did for like a whole 5 minutes. I thought it was badass. She's begging for the tag. She missed Bianca Belair. Hopefully it leads into War Games. I mean, Shotzi did the slowest running to the ring to save someone that I ever seen. So I would already discard her as a team member. If I'm building up War Games, I'll be like, yeah, you didn't even help us on a regular match. How are you gonna be on a War Games match? Because this was not a good save. She ended up getting beat up. But overall, I am so invested. I really enjoyed this. And Damage Control, a faction that a lot of people wanted to break up or didn't think it made any sense, they are starting to look very strong right now, and I'm really into this and what they're doing right now. And I think that there was a little bit of tension in the beginning where you thought that they were going to kick Bailey out, and I think that maybe after War Games they could go in that direction. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Flobo.
This is kind of the match. Had I been 12 or 13, I would have gone to high school the next day or the next school day. Like, oh man, this is so cool. Like having everyone combined, having these superstars show up, and then the Miz going out there. Super shock. Takes me back to when I was a kid when Mark Henry turned on D'Lo Brown. I still think about that day at SummerSlam 99. But that's besides the fact. Fantastic match. Shotzi had like the slowest rundown to Isa's point. It was kind of sad, but she got stomped out pretty quickly. It's almost like he slept with a banana peel on the way in there. But I think about the women's division of SmackDown, even though we think NXT is trending upward, I think this is a good display of the hierarchy of that card, from Charlotte all the way down to the entry level as well. So, I mean, it hit all the marks. I loved it.
I thought this was really good. I like the tension with Damage Control. I think that's very exciting. This idea. I mean, look, you can't have Asuka and Bailey. You can't have two alphas because they're gonna try and fight each other for dominance. So I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting to see where this is gonna go. I thought the match was good up until that point. I like Bailey joining in with the hug. I thought that was a lot of fun. But if this is our women's War Games match, which it looks like it is for Survivor Series, yeah, I think we're in for a hell of a good time.
Does it matter that? Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead, Flobo. I'm sorry.
Does it matter if like Asuka joins Damage Control for this, or do you think that that's going to be the turn at War Games?
I don't know. I worry about that because you said it, like two alpha females here, right? Like I just don't see Asuka being one that joins a faction. Could she be the one that pulls Kairi and possibly Io, since Io brought in Kairi? Maybe, and then we get Bailey like left with Dakota. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of directions that we can go with this. But I will say one of the things that I'm invested in is, number one, I don't see Asuka as a joiner or a follower. That's just not who Asuka is. She's either a loner or I can see her pulling these people in. Another thing is that we were talking about the title pictures. There's also something that you can get away with this Bianca and Charlotte maybe looking a little bit weak, but they haven't gotten a lot of bit wings recently, and I don't know how many pins I want to see them take anymore because they're still top level for me. But I mean, Charlotte has taken nothing but pins in this recent comeback, and now we had Bianca losing when she got cashed in on, and then she lost at Crown Jewels. Obviously, there was some interference, but you get my point. I think for War Games, we can do it, but after that, you really got to go in a direction with both of them where they can start winning some matches again.
I'm worried this is where Jade's going to come into play.
I just don't see, like I just told you, if I don't see Asuka as a follower, there is no way in hell that's where I see Jade, unless she ends up turning, or it's just not how I want. That is not how I want to see Jade debut. Not to join a team and be on a War Games match. I mean this with all the respect, but I know she's been training, but we don't know what she can do. We were never able to really see what she could do in the ring back where she used to work at. I thought her last match was her best match. If I'm being honest, I love her last match with Chris Statlander. Yeah, but a War Games match is just a whole different beast, and we were considering that kind of situation. Like, this is just not it for Jade, in my opinion, right now. And maybe I'm just saving everybody for the Rumble, but save her for the Rumble.
Shotzi
you know what
would be
I mean?
good.
Like,
Shotzi would be good.
No, she won. She already showed she wouldn't be, but they
need one more. They still need one more.
You have Mia Yim. She's in the SmackDown roster. I think she'll be great at a War Games match. You know, you have BFAB. She's watching things backstage.
She couldn't even get it out. She couldn't. I couldn't
even get it out without laughing.
BFAB, but BFAB has wrestled like 2 matches ever on WWE TV.
Yeah.
I said that about Jade. Imagine BFAB. Selena has her own issues, but I wouldn't mind that, honestly.
Selena's good in the ring. Selena can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the thing about Jade is they were presenting her as like this free agent signing. So to have her just appear without Aldis doing the signing thing, it'd be kind of random, and it would take the shine away from her because it's War Games. You show up you're in a cage for 30 minutes. So that's not how you would debut somebody. At least I wouldn't.
You can always have her coming last, so that way she spends the least amount of time in the ring. But it's just not how I want to see her. Like, even as I try to fantasy book how I will put her in there where I'm still protecting her, I still don't know that a War Games match is where I want to see her debut.
Okay.
A run-in is cool, giving her the promo package and cool, but her coming out, being like, I'm Jade, and then waiting to wrestle would be the most dumbest thing to kill all of her heat.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher's saying Mercedes. I don't think Mercedes. I think Mercedes is signed to AEW. They just haven't.
Yeah. What about CM Punk? Zero?
For the women's War Games match.
Come from somewhere.
What if they bring back CM Punk and AJ and he's just her mouthpiece?
Oh, wow. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be different. Hey, shout out Christopher Cycleather saying Happy Veterans Day to all those who served and are still serving. Proud 13 years served in the Air Force. And they did a nice tribute tonight. WWE does that very well. For saluting the troops. And yes, it is Veterans Day.
Wow.
Man, so Santina's got the funnest this Ms. NXT. Oh, well, no, I was thinking Santina's daughter. No, Santina Morel's not being in the
yeah,
what about Tiffany Stratton?
Yeah.
I mean, we see her have some moments with Charlotte Flair. You know, maybe Charlotte can bring her. I feel like she's been kind of teasing to joining in the main roster.
She's got to do something.
She would look badass with that team.
Yeah. Yeah, prettiest moonsault from the top of the cage. Do something. I haven't done this in a while, but in a second I'll give my updated list of things people don't talk about anymore as much. I'll give a taste. The whole list is 50 items now. I've been writing this down for years.
Okay, fedoras for number one.
Well, so some have come back. There's that commercial now that's got a mime in it. It's like, oh, we're talking about mimes again. We didn't talk about mimes for like 20 years as a source of humor. And now mimes are back.
Are you happy mimes are back or
I'm
sad?
not happy, but
I
might have to take it off the list, Flobo, because now we're talking about it again.
I don't know how to take this. This is a new segment.
No, this is just something in my personal. This existed pre-Wrestling Inc. I've talked about this on Twitter. I've been keeping this list for like 10 years now of things we don't talk about in society anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
That we used to talk about a lot and we don't talk about. But we'll get this again. But final thoughts on SmackDown tonight in this build towards Survivor Series.
You know what we don't talk about anymore? December pay-per-views, because that trips me out that it's the last one of the year. I mean, remember the Armageddons and all that? It's going to be basically War Games through the Royal Rumble. So it's going to be 6 weeks, I think, or 7 weeks of just like nothing to build up to. This could be good, but if they blow their load this next 2 weeks, it could hurt their storytelling. So I'm a little concerned, but I'm still excited about the pay-per-view is going to be.
Okay. Issa?
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with the women. I thought it was I was sports entertained tonight.
It was a fun show. They got their foot on the gas towards Survivor Series. It's going to be good. Going to be a good time. So I'll just give you a taste. We're not doing the entire thing because there's a lot of this. There's a lot of stuff we don't talk about anymore. One is, and I mentioned this before, we don't talk about the concept of blood brothers anymore. That's completely gone. That was everywhere when I was growing up. We were cutting our hands. Yeah, there's diseases, man. We didn't know about that in the 80s. No one talks about long distance calls anymore or anytime minutes. Both of those have just disappeared.
Free calls at the 10 p.m.
They don't exist. That's what no one talks about them.
Well, speaking of which, we don't talk about amnesia anymore. Remember when everybody used to get amnesia in like every third sitcom episode? Like Mr. Drummond's like, I don't recognize you, Arnold. Who are you? Like amnesia was a big deal when I was growing up. I was very afraid I was going to just not know who I was or who anyone else was.
I'm going to regret asking this. How many things are on that list right now, Glenn?
There's like 50, but we're not going through all of them.
Can you read number 14 and 15? I want to see how far. I want to see how far down.
Number 14. No one asks anyone anymore house tricks. When did that stop being a thing that we would just ask people?
The cereal?
No, like, yo, like, what's up, Issa? House tricks, I
have no idea what's going on.
15 was amnesia. 16, though, is singing telegrams. What happened to singing telegrams? I used to be able to hire someone, Flobo. I could want to send you a message, and I would hire someone that would show up on your doorstep, and they would sing you a little song from Glenn.
Yeah, it's all Cameo now, Glenn.
I
You guys
want a
can book
singing
me
telegram.
NYC Demon Diva.
She'll do a singing telegram for you on Cameo, everybody.
I did. I sang the Cody Rose song. You should check it out. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, here we go. 17. No one talks about space age technology anymore. Space age technology was the future. I want to buy, this pan. It's made with space age technology. Well, it must be good then.
Isn't that how Elon Musk became a billionaire?
I think it was the electric car thing.
Tonight in the wrestling after
Actually,
show,
no, it was
Glenn,
PayPal. If we're gonna keep it real, it was PayPal. It was none of this stuff.
This is hilarious. You're taking me back to the 90s, man. Local man rants about things that don't exist. Details at 10 p.m.
This one's kind of wrestling related because since 2016, no one talks about timeshares anymore. Like the Shining Stars brought it back and then it disappeared again. You know, timeshares were everywhere.
The shining star of the Caribbean.
Also,
I remember the gimmick. Yeah,
this one's maybe a little political, but why don't we talk about the man anymore or fighting the man? I feel like the man changed a little bit.
The man won, Glenn. Look around. The man already won.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We all were united against fighting the man, and now, like, it's according to Flobo, the man won.
You see taxes? You see timeshare? The man won. We had no chance. Shout out to the man.
Yeah, I'll give you three more.
Three
more. Just three. When I guess this has stopped being a problem, which is great, but are hubcaps still stolen? Because I feel like my entire life, drive through a bad neighborhood, your hubcaps are going to get stolen. Oh, he must be out stealing hubcaps. Like, do people still steal hubcaps? This was an epidemic of crime. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
They're plastic now, so they don't steal them.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Buttermilk. I feel like buttermilk used to be everywhere. People would sometimes drink buttermilk. Recipes would have buttermilk. People would enjoy a calming little sip of buttermilk.
Where's the end the show button? Can we just hit that now? What is going on?
He's got one more. Come on.
Okay.
What else, Glenn?
Okay. I'll pick a good one here. Wine coolers have the hard lemonade, has hard seltzer. What happened to a good old fashioned Bartles and James wine cooler? Growing up, that's what sophisticated adults drank. In the 90s, that's what underage drinkers drank. And then Zima just came along and ruined it for everyone.
Zima did ruin it for everyone.
And that's this week's edition of Things We Don't Talk About Anymore.
Thanks for that, Glenn.
Yes, kombucha. Kombucha is the new wine cooler. You can get drunk off kombucha. I have gotten drunk off kombucha.
Oh yeah? How about that?
Yeah, it's fermented. So the alcohol level varies, but you get like a good kombucha. Oh yeah, you'll get messed up.
I never found one I liked. It all tastes kind of weird to me.
There's one called Synergy that tastes like a fruity Zima style drink. It's pretty good. But okay, so Flobo, where can everyone find you online?
Well, you made me feel bad for telling the end of the show, so I feel awful. But if I'm actually a face, I actually like wrestling. I'm positive. At Flobo Boyce on X and on Blue Sky. Say what's up,
Issa. You got your cameo going?
NYC Demon Diva across all socials and YouTube.
Get those cameos from Issa. A good time.
I
changed the lyrics of the Cody Rose song,
okay.
So it was more of a remix, you know.
Whoa!
Like Ignition. So I've never heard the original version of Ignition. Is there an original version? Okay.
No, it's not as good. The remix is better. I like the original Fiesta, and we don't talk about R. Kelly anymore, Pop, for good reason.
That one's okay. That was probably for the best.
That's your list. I'm
Glenn Rubenstien, and on Gigantic Pop this Sunday with Matt Morgan and Raj Giri, we're talking about the 8-bit NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, our favorite games. And you know what? I'm going to read the entire 50-item list, and maybe I'll add a few more. So tune in, Gigantic Pop. Search for it on YouTube. It records Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Tuesday, maybe all three of us. Who knows? On NXT. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.